All right, welcome to the Sports Guys. We're here for a really special episode this week, guys, because I have a special friend on the podcast tonight. Her name is Sylvia Depta. She was the first woman I met at the University of Virginia, day two, the day after we saw Tom DeLuca on stage, for those who know about Wahoo lore. And she's going to come on tonight with her son, John, and they're going to talk to us about a really exciting sport, one that I've actually tried about 12 years ago, and it's triathlons. And we're going to get into what it's like to train for them, what it's like to compete in them, why the two of them love the sport. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good,
Great.
good.
Thanks for having us, Tom.
Yeah.
It's 38 years, right? Long
Long
time.
time, long time. Sylvia, John, really impressed with you guys taking this sport on. It's a very tough sport. Would love to hear, Sylvia, kind of how you got into it. I know in the old days you were a great musician. You were always hilarious. You were probably the best student in our friend group. And then all of a sudden, 10 years ago, I start seeing pictures of you winning medals in triathlon. So how did that happen?
Well, I do have five children.
Okay.
I needed an avenue to just release some positive, like just get, I wanted to stay physically fit. So it started out actually before then when I was first married. We moved to Hawaii and
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do open water swims for the first time. So I
Oh,
was always I was an okay swimmer. I did the summer league. I actually coached a swim team. I was a lifeguard. That's how I met my husband. But we
okay.
moved to Oahu and I joined the swim team there.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that Hawaii has lots of open ocean swims. So I tried a half-mile swim and then it kept getting longer and more events. So once I was able to feel comfortable in the water, I knew that that was a big deal in triathlon because
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of people get really nervous.
For sure.
Then after, I think it was kid number four, I got $500 from my mom for my birthday. So we went out and we bought a used giant bike. And
Oh,
I would bike it in the morning before the kids would wake up. I'd swim and then I would bike home and then I'd get everybody ready. So I was like, okay, I've got a bike. I can
but now you
swim.
got two of the three, right? You got two of the
Got
three
two of
there.
the three, two of the three. And then in Austin, Texas, they had what was called the Danskin Triathlon. They don't have that
Mm-hmm.
anymore, just for women.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I better just sign up. So I did that and I thought, well, this is pretty fun. But it really wasn't until I moved to Arizona where when I
Mm-hmm.
had more opportunity because the weather's so great all year round. Well, not in the
Mm-hmm.
summer, but California is nearby. So I can go to California to do races and then I can
Right.
go up to Flagstaff in the summer and do races. And they just happen a lot. So I just kept doing more and more and more and enjoying it. And then finally got
That's
John to
awesome.
do a few.
So, John, how did she talk you into it, picking up the sport?
Uh, it's kind of a blur, really. I mean, it's kind of like I got hit in the head and then I found myself in the middle of a race. Um, I really don't remember. It was just, all right, we're doing this now. And then I started doing it. And it got to a point where I was like, hey, I don't want to suck at this anymore. So I started putting some effort into it. And then
Mhm.
I got a little better. My mom was, she pulled my leash and she was like, okay, we're gonna go keep doing this. And then we went to Spain and that was pretty fun. But I don't know. I kind of just fell into it because she's, pretty influential over my life.
You
But
prodded
yeah.
you into it. Yeah. I think you've gotten pretty good, though, John, is my understanding. Is there any of the three legs you like more than the other?
Oh, I love swimming. The
Mhm.
anything that has to do with swimming is a favorite portion. Like
Mhm.
in Milwaukee, not Milwaukee, oops,
Omaha,
Omaha. My bad. In Omaha,
Mhm.
the open water swim there and
Cunningham, I think.
Cunningham, yeah, Lake Cunningham. That one was particularly like enjoyable, but not like
Mhm.
enjoyable, but uh I was swimming like you have like the start it was mass start I think during
Mhm.
one of the legs and
Mhm.
uh kind of terrifying. It was kind of like you're um being sent to war. I don't know. It was just kind of chaotic. It was terrifying. So
Yeah.
everyone's running in, anyways. But as you keep swimming, it's just like as you look beneath you, it's just this empty vastness. I don't know. It kind of felt like you were just floating in space, and that's kind of my favorite part about like the open water swimming is it's very like it's just like you and like your mind and
Mhm.
kind of going
It's
at it.
exciting, right? It's exciting.
Yeah,
Do you, do you like, John, to kind of break out from the rest of the pack? Because I would think once you start, and the two races I did, I remember I felt people hitting my feet. I felt people hitting my head, people hitting my arms. You know what I mean? It's just close quarters. If you can break out, you get a little bit more room. So do you like to do that?
Oh yeah, I mean, otherwise it feels like you're like in a boxing match, you're getting hit in the face every other like stroke. But
Right.
no, try to get away from people as much as I can. But one of the things I suck at is the navigation. So I'll look
Mhm.
up, it'll be like completely just an offshoot of everyone else. I'm like, wait, hold on, time
Mhm.
to go back to the pack. Like, not that
Gotcha.
exceptional. Let's get back with everyone else. But
Gotcha. That's cool.
definitely the navigation is like the hardest part because you think you're going straight, and then like with the tides and the currents, and
Mhm.
also just like kind of enjoying the moment, you kind of lose track of everything.
That's cool. So, Sylvie, what's your favorite discipline of the three?
Well, it used to be the swim,
Hmm.
but I did get some really nice bikes. So
Mm.
uh, now I'm becoming more competitive in the bike leg. And what's nice is that
Interesting.
my husband, for example, he took me to a bike store I didn't know. We thought we were going to get him a bike, and he said, "Hey, I think you need a new road bike." And it was
Hmm.
like top of the line, and it had all these
Hmm.
great electronic shifters. And so I've been able to shave off time and be
Hmm.
kind of competitive in the biking. But I think that it's really key to feel comfortable in the swim because it's the start of the race. You're not going to win a triathlon through the swim,
Hmm.
but mentally you want to come out of the water and not be exhausted.
Hmm.
So I like what John had to say about how you feel at the beginning of the race because there's so many different starts. There's a mass start, which is very exhausting because you've got maybe, I mean, 100 people starting at the same time. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
mixed gender and you're all hitting each other and it gets pretty scary and then you have to do the sighting. But when you're done, if you find your pace, you find a comfortable place, then when you
Hmm.
come out of the run, out of the swim, you're ready for rocking it on the bike.
Hmm.
And so I feel
That's
like the
good.
bike is becoming my strong.
How long did it take you guys to get used to that transition area? Because I know you have to go there whenever you're getting, putting new clothes on and putting shoes on and getting ready for the bike, and then when you come back, you put running shoes on. And,
How about you, John?
I honestly don't know if I'm used to it like yet. Like I don't know if I've gotten used to it. I mean, she's been doing this forever, so it's still like new to me. I'm like, okay, all right, get out of the water, okay. And now I always have like a headache, and then I'm like, okay, what the hell do I do from here? And then I'm like, oh, okay, and it kind of hits you. But no, I don't know if I'm used to it yet, even, you know.
So for me, my last transition when I went, it's different. So there's 5 timed parts to the try. Do you know what they
right.
are, Tom? Do you know what they are?
I would love for you to tell me.
Okay. So you've got the swim portion. Then you hit T1, which is
Hmm.
transition. That's when you get ready from the swim to the bike. So you're going to get your
Okay.
helmet on. You have to get your helmet on first. Don't
Yep.
touch your bike until you put on your helmet. Then you put on your bike shoes and
Hmm.
whatever else you need, gels. And then you have to run your bike out of transition or walk it out of transition.
No.
But you
Okay.
can't mount your bike until a certain spot.
Got it.
So then you do the cycling portion. Then there's T2. So T2, you're tired from the bike, but you've got to run the bike in. You have to find your rack, right? That's
Hmm.
always the tricky part. Where exactly did you rack your bike? Hang it on there,
Hmm.
and then you've got to transition into your running shoes and your hat and make sure you have your number,
Hmm.
your bib on you,
Yeah.
and then you're out. So and then you have the run. So those are the 5 times that are going to be part of your final time. And I think my last swim to bike transition time was 57 seconds. Like I was like, I had it down.
Wow.
Make or break your race. So,
Hmm.
you really have to be thinking, okay, this is exactly what I need. I'm going to position it in a certain way. My shoes are going to be angled this way. My hat's going to be upside down, facing a certain way. My helmet's going to be here. And if you're really, really good and young, there's the flying mounts. So
Hmm.
you've probably seen them,
Hmm.
right? People come
I have.
out, they already have their shoes rubber band in, and they can go on the bike. All they have to do is put on their helmet. They put their feet on after the mount, and then they start pedaling, and then they can get their shoes slipped in,
Mm.
and then start with the bike. So that saves a
Wow.
lot of time. I've tried that a few times, maybe a couple of years ago, successful sort of, and then one time I fell, and I was like, forget it, it's not worth it.
So if you jump on the bike too early, do you get disqualified or you just get a penalty time wise?
That's never happened to me, but I'm sure you get a penalty.
Hmm.
I'd have to read through the rules to figure out if you get disqualified, but I've never seen anyone get disqualified for that reason.
So
Or,
this is just like a do you have to put your like helmet on before you put like your shoes on? Or is it
Well, the first thing you want to do before you touch your bike,
why?
you've got to put on your helmet. That's just a rule.
It's a rule?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Interesting.
makes sense.
That's very cool. So, John, are you
Go ahead.
proud of your mom for being a 50 plus athlete badass? I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean she's
you
doing this
got to
long
be.
time alive, so it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, hear about how she's like in Hawaii doing all this open water swimming and stuff.
Are your friends proud of her too? Like, are your friends impressed with
Yeah, and they come over, they're like, "Who the hell is this?" And then they're like, "Oh my,
her?
is this a little
Too
medal?
funny. That's great, man.
Oh, this is my
So,
mom's humbleness over here." And then they're like, "Oh, okay."
John, do you have some goals to like get better at this sport? Do you think you want to try to pursue it?
I do. I mean, I want like a good time. Like I like to see myself improve, and I think it's just mostly like the in the training and like just improving like my health, right? Like that's what I really care about. Because competing is fun, like it's getting all ready, but like I think there's one phrase that's like you don't earn the medal at the competition, you earn it when you train, right? And you just collect it at the
It's true.
competition.
It's true.
So, I mean, I really do it like for like the health and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen that image with like the 70-year-old triathlete and the 70-year-old who didn't do triathlons. Have you ever seen
Mm,
that? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I have. Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And then like the MRI scan of like the legs,
Yep.
that was like a game changer. I looked at that, I was like, that's actually crazy.
You're
Like,
like, I want to be that guy, not that guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
7-year-old, the
70-year-old.
70-year-old.
I've shown you that.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah.
That's
It's the
amazing.
MRI scan, and it just shows how like the 7-year-old who does all the triathlons, his legs are like completely full of muscle, and it's like,
Oh, wow.
ask yourself, who's gonna have trouble like getting off like the toilet or like you know like getting up from bed? It's like the dude who's doing this every day, And that was kind of a big motivator. I was like, I don't want to be, like struggling to walk around and stuff. So I just like to keep myself in good health. And she's very influential in that regard. She's always like on top of it, and I'm like, I kind of look up to that. So
Well, keep listening to her because you're still young enough to make the Olympics. So,
am I really?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Wait, how old do you have to? How does that work?
I think you have to be 15, and you can go. I guess you could probably go max, right, Sylvia? I guess you could potentially qualify for Olympics.
I'm not going to the Olympics, but I'm just curious. Like, how does it like how like is there an age cap?
Well, you have to go to the U.S. trials, and you have to win your race, or I think you have to be top three within your bracket, that kind of thing. So,
Really? How do you
yeah.
get to the U.S. trials?
So we'll talk about that later. But one thing that was interesting was I did a women's collegiate championship in Tempe here a
Mhm.
couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
And so it was all these young kids from all over the country racing triathlon here in Arizona. And they
Mhm.
had age group division. So I competed in age group division. But I did a draft legal clinic before the event because my race was draft legal, which means you can't have error bars and they can get very close to your bike. And so there are different
Right.
rules. You don't usually get that opportunity. So the coaches of ASU triathlon team were the ones that were running the clinic. And
Wow.
I had them send a little video to John. I was like, hey, can you say something to my son? Try to get him on your club, because ASU has a great tri team and
Yeah.
that's where he's going to end up in the fall. So
Yeah.
Super cool.
yeah.
Are there people that move to Arizona to be part of the old tri culture? 'Cause I would think they would, right? You get
Yes,
you got to
absolutely.
be like Arizona, or you got to be like maybe northern Florida, or
I
somewhere
have
really.
heard like the ASU does get a decent amount of like out of state students. So
Mhm.
presumably, yeah.
Mm.
That's great. That's awesome. Are you guys ready to hit the material? Take a look at it.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, this is our triathlons and marathons episode 97. Sylvia, this is with Sylvia and John Depta. I got some great photos here. You can see to the left there, kind of some classic photos of what the marathon looks like, and then I got that transition area that Sylvia was talking about right there in the middle, and then a couple great pictures of Sylvia getting her medal and also on her bike. I don't know if that's one of your better bikes or not, Sylvia.
It
And
is.
Oh, that's the track, yeah.
Yes.
yeah, and then another one down below, USA Triathlon, some more medals. So have you had to put a trophy case into your house?
Well, I do have an entire wall that has many, many medals.
It's affecting
Wow.
the structural security of the house.
Is
All
it?
the metals they bring down the roofing.
We got to get an engineer to come in and try to
Yeah, they
fortify
figure
it.
or a team at least, probably. I mean,
I kind of tuck
Especially
them away. I tuck them away. They're around the corner past the dining room. I don't want them to be like the first thing that people see.
right, right. Well, when John starts bringing in the medals, the place is really going to crash. Right. So looking at you guys' bios, so Sylvia, you're a retired attorney with an undergrad degree from University of Virginia, have competed in triathlon for the past decade. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, goodness.
That you took it up in your mid 40s. Pretty cool. Recently made Team USA, represented the US at the 2025 age group multi-sport worlds in Pontevedra, Spain. You were talking to me about that particular race. Is that a big deal to make it to Pontevedra?
It is. That is the pinnacle of my triathlon career, to make Team USA and to
No.
represent the United States. Yes, that was a
What
big
did
deal.
it feel like to have USA on your chest? I mean, that just has to be the best.
It was really amazing. Like John and I were together and we participated in the Parade of Nations through the town of Pontevedra, and all of the, I mean, several hundred people that lived there came out, all the locals, and we walked alongside with, I don't know, maybe 40, so many different federations. I don't know how many, but we were able to communicate and exchange pins, and John had the hat from somebody from South America. But it was
cool.
It was really a neat thing because we were very proud, and everybody was really positive about the United States.
Good, good. And what is these three races? Standard, duathlon. So that would be what, the bike and the run?
So that was my hardest competition. That is a 10K run, and we did it through the streets of Pontevedra.
Right.
Then we would transition into a 40K bike, and it was a pretty hilly course. They say it's one of the hilliest.
Wow.
And then it was finished off with the 5K run. So that's the standard duathlon.
Okay. All right.
So
And you had the draft legal sprint duathlon, and then you had the aquathlon, which I guess would just be swimming only.
No. So draft legal sprint duathlon is half the distance of the standard, but
Okay.
I had to use a different configuration on my bike. So I flipped my bike and I have aero bars. So I had to take the aero bars off.
Okay.
And then finish the draft legal. And that was a pretty good race for me. And the final race was the aquathlon. That's how you say it. Aquathlon.
Aquathlon. Okay.
People say aquathon, but it's really aquathlon.
Aquathlon. Okay. Got it.
Aquathon forever.
And is that a run and a swim? Is that what that is?
So yeah, it starts out with a 1,000-meter swim, and John and I swam down the Lorez River in Pontevedra, and then we finished it off with a 5K run.
Oh wow! So you guys were a team, or you were in different age groups?
We were in different age groups, but it was the aquathlon was the race that John qualified for. So
that's awesome.
I got to do that one.
Congratulations.
That was great, actually.
So then, Sylvia, you've been in 6 national championships and 3 multi-sport national championships. Did you have to qualify for those?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
That's very cool.
And each one was very exciting. So that's where I met some of the more interesting names, that the movers and shakers of triathlon, the people that, shape the sport, historical figures, the 12 original Ironman. I got to meet, those guys. They came to one of the nationals. There's usually a gala the night before.
Right. Yep.
And so that's where I got to meet a lot of people.
And that's where some of your pictures we're going to show a little bit later come from, I assume. Some of those galas. Oh, very cool. And then you're part of all these different clubs locally, so you can continue to train with them, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're also a busy violinist.
I am, yes.
And I remember you played in college.
Play all the time. What?
Yeah, you used to play in college. I heard you play a couple times. That was cool. And then you're also part of the Musical Theater Alliance of Arizona.
Right.
And you're a ballroom and country line dancer. Wow. So now I understand why you have to be a retired attorney, because you have all these things going on and 5 kids.
That's right.
Yeah. So you have 5 kids with your husband, Scott. And what took you to Arizona? Just curious. Was there a job opportunity?
Yes. It was my husband's job. He came out here to work for a company.
Okay.
And I did not want to move to Arizona. We lived in Austin for 14 years, which is a great place.
It is.
But then we moved here, and now we love it here. So
very good. And then, John, you're a senior at Swargo High School?
It's misspelled, but saguaro, like the cactus.
Saguaro. Okay. Saguaro High School. And you competed in 2 championships and qualified for Team USA. That's really good stuff, man, for being so young in the sport.
I
Congrats.
think part of it is like the developing sport and that like the fact that I am so young, there's not as much competition as you'd think,
Gotcha.
which gives me a little bit of imposter syndrome, but it's still nice to be here.
And
Well,
you worked part-time as a lifeguard. And so did you get a little raise for being a lifeguard because you're on Team USA?
I wish God. Oh my gosh. Uh,
And then you qualified as an EMT. What do you want to try to do with that?
so I want to go to med school, but
Okay.
it helps with the application, get some like inpatient contact hours and
Got
also
it.
make some money and do a good thing, right? It's about helping people, right?
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I love that. And you're going to attend ASU. I have to tell you, ever since you guys had Scattaboo in the backfield for that football team, I've been a fan of ASU. So
Wait, what a boot?
he was a running back 2 years ago for you guys. Now he's with the New York Giants, and he's
Oh
a
my goodness.
really good player. Yeah.
No, yeah, their games are really like really whole things, and they also give away a ton of merch. It's pretty,
Very
huge
cool.
school. Yeah, it's a great
Very
school,
cool.
but
Both you guys are very impressive. So let's look at the history of the triathlon. And I think, Sylvia, you know some of this history, but I'm just going to give it for the people. It started in San Diego, California in 1974, evolving from the San Diego Track Club as an endurance challenge, which I think is pretty cool. So 4 years later, they had the first Ironman in Hawaii, which is interesting that you had that history in Hawaii as well.
I know, right?
that's
The
cool.
sport achieved Olympic status in 2000, which I think is very cool. It's such a great sport with the swim, bike, and run segments, and now has a governing body to manage the rapid growth of the sport. What was interesting to me, Sylvia and John, was the sport has French roots. So apparently in France, they used to do a multi-sport endurance event starting in 1901, so way before the San Diego, and they called it Le Triathlon, which is
Oh,
interesting. And they had this idea of combining different sports into one discipline, which is very cool. So, thoughts about the history of triathlons and how do you think it shapes the sport today?
So you have there a picture of Xterra wetsuits, Mission Bay
Yes,
triathlon. And I both did that triathlon.
you did. Okay,
We did do
oh,
that.
that was awesome.
And we were there for I guess it wasn't really it was an outdoor gala for the
yes,
50th anniversary of triathlon. So we were able to attend that, and there were some interesting speakers there, including I think is it Julie Moss? She was the
mhm,
one in 1982 who in Kona was like struggling to finish at she had a really dramatic finish for the triathlon and got passed by somebody else. But we
gotcha.
had a lot of great speakers there, and it was neat to be part of that Mission Bay. So
Yeah.
I wanted to. They have 6 triathlons a year. This is held by Cause Events, and John and
Right.
I are able to go to California a lot and compete in those triathlons.
Oh,
And
that's great.
it turned
Super
out
cool.
that on the 50th anniversary of triathlon, I was first in my age division for that series, and I
Let's
was
go.
like, I really want to do it for the 50th.
That's so cool. Is there more competition at your age or at John's age?
My mom's age, definitely.
You
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why do you
So
think that is? Why do you think so many, 40s and 50 somethings pick this sport up? Because I
I
have
don't
seen that on my side too.
I have seen that. Yeah, there's a lot of like because I meet a lot of the people there. I don't I think there's something to do with like the I'm just this is just speculation, but the variety of the sports because like I think a
Mm,
lot of younger people will like I meet a lot of kids who are like a lot of 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds and
right,
they're all like
right.
locked in on swimming or locked in on like, soccer or something. But I
I
think that
see.
has something to do with the variety of the sport.
Yeah.
I think
And I
also
think and I think
they're
when you get older, don't you agree, Sylvia, that you just want a challenge, right? I mean, you want to stay healthy. You want
well,
to
I
get
think they're trying very hard. So I was actually able to meet with the chief development officer and Mark Allen. He's a really well-known triathlete. They came here to Phoenix and they invited me to dinner. So I was meeting with them, and they're putting a lot of money and effort into getting youth interested in this sport.
okay.
So
Got it.
um, it's an expensive sport. You have to have a bike. You have to have
Yes.
swim stuff. You have to have, a wetsuit. You have to have good running shoes. There's a lot of stuff that you
And
need.
you have to be able to travel potentially internationally. So yeah, it is very expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Europe, it's easier because they can just get on a train and they can go from one place to another. Here, it's a
Right.
big deal when you
That
travel.
makes sense.
It makes
Fly
So
with bike and all that.
okay,
physical
that makes sense.
flexibility. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and young people are broke. So
Yeah,
And young people are broke.
that
And
makes
that's
sense.
that's
why
right.
people in their 30s, in their 40s and 50s,
That
like,
makes
Okay.
sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for both of you. The Ironman in 1978, they still call some of the races Ironman and some they do not. So how is Ironman used interchangeably with triathlon? Are they the same thing, or is the Ironman a different flavor of the triathlon?
so from what I understand, the Ironman means that there's a certain distance that is accomplished, right?
Okay.
You have the 2.4 mile swim. I think it's a 115-mile bike and the marathon, the 26.2 mile run.
Yeah.
So that's an Ironman distance.
Okay.
But there are several Ironman races. So example, you'll have the Kona Championship in Hawaii, or you'll
Right.
have, you know, I don't know, the one they had here in Tempe, the
Mhm.
Arizona
That one was
one
huge.
that they have
Yeah.
that one, right? So
Right.
they all have different names, but it's still an Ironman distance.
Mhm. Very good.
Yeah,
So what would be a time for like the winning woman in your age bracket for like the Kona Ironman? What would be the winning time, do you think?
Oh, Tom, that I do not know.
Okay.
I've never done an Ironman.
Okay.
I have done sprint and Olympic, and I'm training now. Potentially,
Okay.
I haven't decided, but I'm going in this direction to do my first half iron. So
So what would be the Olympic time for the woman in your bracket? I was just curious because I have this impression you're probably out there all day long, aren't you? Like 10, 12,
yes.
14
Okay.
hours.
So what you're saying, you're asking like, yeah, times would be, gosh, like I'm trying to think, like Julie Moss, for example. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's like 16 hours or something,
Wow.
crazy like that. It's
I
it's
just wanted people to understand like it's an all day commitment.
it is an all day thing. You start in the dark, you finish in the dark.
Right, right.
It's a big thing. I mean, that's why it's such a amazing accomplishment. And
It
when you
is.
hear, there's a man named Mike Riley, and he's known as the voice of Ironman, and he announced at Kona several years that when you cross the finish line, you are an Ironman. Like that is a big statement. You are an Ironman.
Got it.
You will have an Olympic distance is typically the 1 mile swim or 1,500 meter swim, and it will be a like a 24 or 25 mile bike and a
Yep.
10K.
Got it.
So, you know, those will be like 3 hour races, 2.5 hour races, depending on
Mhm.
the course, depending on the athletes, depending
Mhm.
on the gender, the age division. So we're not, that's not 6 hours. 6 hours would be something like a half iron.
Half iron. Okay. I'm with you. Very cool. That's
So I
helpful.
guess the iron based on that might be 12. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So here's what the recommended kind of train for a triathlon program would be. You want to consistently practice swimming, biking, and running 2 to 3 times weekly. And you want to incorporate your back-to-back brick workouts, which is bike run, and then focus on swim on a different day with your technique. And then you want to gradually increase distance by no more than 10% weekly as you build up to a big race. Obviously, don't skip your rest days. Listen to your body to avoid overtraining. So, what is your thought about this advice, or do you have a different method?
Right. This sounds like great advice. So you saw that I belong to several different organizations,
Yes.
a biking club, a swim team, a triathlon team. That's because you have to spend time with every discipline
Hmm.
and, shaking it up. You can't spend all your time running because you've got to practice on the swim.
Hmm.
So looks like a very good plan. I'm actually considering doing my first 70.3, which means I'm looking into getting a coach, and the
Okay.
coach will write up a plan. How much time do we have? And that's what I'm in the process of doing now. So I just finished going to, it's called Human Powered Health, and they
Hmm.
did a bunch of diagnostics on me. For example, my lactate threshold on the bike, and then one on the run, and then I just did a hydration test.
Oh,
So
wow.
then all those um, detailed reports over to my coach, and that coach will come up with a plan for me that I need to follow, and then I'll give them feedback. So it really depends on the person, but that sounds like a fine one for an Olympic.
How do you recover? Like, what's your best way to do it? Is it rest? Is it lots of liquids? What's your
I
best way
think
to?
for me, sometimes I don't need much to recover, especially for a sprint race.
Mhm.
Big race, it would depend on the course, but I just kind of rest the next day. And
Mhm.
I think it's key to have good nutrition. That's really important. And to know the weather. I use a lot of ice. So
Mhm.
hydration before, like not just the day before, you got to be hydrating a couple of days before and
Mhm.
make sure that you are comfortable with the nutrition that you have. I like to LMNT and Martins and Tailwind.
Mhm.
Those are my favorites. But, you know,
And do you drink a lot of water while you're in the race, or do you eat bananas or any of those kinds of things?
so have you ever seen the gels? The gels, the
Yes, I have. Yep.
goos, gels, those are
Mhm.
key. Salt tablets, electrolyte tablets, and those powders that I mentioned, Tailwind powder,
Mhm.
LMNT, they have a lot of sodium in them.
Okay.
Yeah, your stomach does not feel good. And they're expensive. Like it's like, oh my gosh, I spent $50 on all this stuff. This could be a restaurant, but no, it's gels and powders and salt tablets. And
See, Sylvia, this is why we got to find you a sponsor.
I know
We're
it's
gonna work
inspired to
on it.
being my sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. We need a sponsor for sure. Yeah, well, that's interesting. So, are you pretty much out there almost every day training, doing some?
No, not
No.
really. Well, I'm going to have to train more if I'm going to do a longer distance race. But right
Mhm.
now, I don't really need to do that because my body's acclimated to Olympic distance, and that's what I've been
Got it.
doing mostly.
Got it. Okay, that's
Mhm.
great. So, some of the types of triathlons. This is the one I tried twice, 12 years ago. Had a lot of fun doing it. The sprint triathlon, 700-meter swim, 20K bike, and 5K run. Of course,
Right.
that distance goes up and down based on what location you're in. And you can see here, this is what they recommend. Finish with no endurance background, 3 to 4 hours. If you have an elite sports background, 3 to 4 hours, and then compete with no endurance background at all is 5 to 6 hours. So those are kind of your ranges. So that one, is that where you started with sprint triathlons?
Right. That's where I started.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
figured. So the next one's the one you've been doing a lot of, the Olympic triathlon.
Yes.
We're now up to 1.5K swim, 40K bike, and 10K run.
Hmm.
And like you said, you're very acclimated to this distance, so it doesn't sound like you need as much training as you did before.
Right. This one, I can do a whole bunch of things. I can go out the night before, and then I can wake up and do this race, and I'd be fine. I just need to know what the weather's like.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you don't get cramps if you trained the day before, that kind of thing.
Not really. Not for this distance. Not anymore.
Okay, great. So the next one's the half Ironman. You talked about that. This
Mhm.
one is not actually that much more than the Olympic. It's a little bit more.
It's
So
double.
you can see the swim is a little bit more. The bike is double, more than double actually,
Mhm.
and then the run is double. So what do you
So,
think it would take for you to get ready for a race like this?
well, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm just going to have to spend more time running. I'm doing a couple of half marathons. Those will come up. And then I'm competing in, well, it's not a competition, but we have bike tours. So we do Tour de
Mhm.
Scottsdale. So I just finished the Tour de Tucson, which was this 100-kilometer bike ride. And then Bike the Coast was 50 miles. And then I'll do the Tour de Scottsdale and the Tour de Zona. So I'm going to spend a lot of time on my bike doing longer distance rides. That's
Because
key
it
for me.
says here if you want to compete at an elite level, you have to train 8 to 9 hours a week for 6 months.
Right.
That's interesting.
And that's I'm gonna have to put in a lot of time. Getting up
Mhm.
early, not wasting my time, cutting out other activities. And I don't know. I'm excited about it because my friends are doing it, but it is a
So
little scary.
do you have to cut out sweets and chocolate and all that? I
No,
assume.
no,
No. Okay.
no.
Well, that's good. So where do you find your coach? Is it within your organization? They've got coaches that you can bring on, or?
So there are a lot of coaches that you can lean into, and it just depends on you have to find a good match, somebody who's going to invest in you, and so I'm talking to some people, and I have somebody who I've been connecting with through One Multisport, um,
Mhm.
But, it just depends on who you feel is going to invest in you and how much they're going to cost, right? A coach can be very
Right.
expensive.
Right. That makes sense.
Mhm.
So for the full Ironman, wow, what a race this is. 3.8
Yeah.
km swim, 180 km bike, and then 42 km run. Is that run essentially a marathon?
Yes. That's
Okay.
why it's funny to see it in all kilometers because I don't usually think of them that way. It's like the swim is 2.4 miles, right? The run is 26.2. Yes, that's a
Mhm.
full marathon.
And
Mhm.
this is saying to be elite and competitive, you would need to do 11 to 12 hours a week for 18 months, which is wow, what a ramp up that would be.
And for some people that's not the case, right? Depends on your age,
Sure.
depends on your fitness level.
I guess you'd have to be really dedicated to it to be a full Ironman person.
Yes.
I
The
would
people
say.
that I know that do the full Ironman, like that's what they're focused on for the whole year. That's everything else falls to the wayside. This is what they're
Mhm.
doing. You
Mhm.
can't invite them to a concert. You can't invite them to dinner. That like all the time.
No, I'm sorry, I'm training tomorrow.
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting. So the Olympic, do you think will still remain your favorite,
I
even if
think
you did?
I feel good after the Olympic. I can go about my day after the Olympic. Nobody
Mhm.
knows I'm gone. I get up early in the morning, I finish a race, I come home, and the kids are usually up, but they haven't missed me for a long time. So
So you talked about building up to doing these races for the first time. You did your swimming out in Hawaii and all that kind of thing. What was the impetus to finally try it? Like what got you over the hump in preparing for it?
oh, that's a good question. I just knew that I could do all three. If you have the swim, you can do all three,
Hmm.
right?
Gotcha.
Swimming is the scariest part for most people. You're in a murky body of water or water that has a lot of waves and currents and if you can do that, you can finish the rest. You can bike slowly. And this
Hmm.
is what I want to encourage I'm in the 55 to 59 category.
Hmm.
So it's not too late to start when you're middle age. You just
Hmm.
start where you're at. The swim is key because you don't want to panic in the water. And then, of
Hmm.
course, riding a bike, you can ride it as fast or slowly as you like. And then, if you have to, you can walk it. You can
Hmm.
walk the run, just finish it. So you start there, then you get better. You look at your times. Maybe you get a coach. You figure out your zones, your heart rate zones, and um, and then ultimately, it's a lot of fun. You feel good about yourself.
Is the bike the easiest if you have a really good bike? My
Oh,
assumption is if
I
it's a
don't
really
know.
good bike. Yeah.
So people get injured on the bike, right?
Mm, okay.
Crashes, broken collarbones,
That's true.
going down a hill 40 miles an hour. It's kind of
Hmm.
scary.
Hmm.
If you have a good
Interesting.
bike, it's better. The more you practice, the better you'll be. But I think a lot of the injuries happen on the bike. I
And
mean,
it probably depends on who you ask, because some people are swimmers, some people are runners. Probably depends who you ask.
it does depend on who you ask. But
Yeah.
that's why draft legal, here's an example. I did a draft legal race here in
Yep.
Tempe for the collegiate championship.
Hmm.
And there weren't a lot of women that did it because
Interesting.
we don't want to crash.
Exactly. So these are some of the big races. I'd love to hear which ones of these you've done and which ones you want to try to do. You got that Kona one you talked about, the Ironman,
Yeah.
the Escape
Yeah.
from Alcatraz, the Challenge Roth in Germany, the Norwegian one, Norseman Extreme, the Keltman in Scotland. By the way, our family's going to Scotland next summer. We're real excited.
I know.
And then the one in France in Umbrunman. So are any of these kind of on your target list, or are there others that you're looking at?
So I will never do the Ironman World Championship. So okay.
Okay.
Um, but the Escape from Alcatraz, I was very close to doing that one. And
Okay.
it's kind of like you said, it is iconic, right? People
Hmm.
proudly wear their Escape from Alcatraz like swag. It's a
Right.
neat one, but it's a tough one too. And I have heard about the one in Roth. I know that's a very
Hmm.
difficult race.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I'll end up doing any of those, but
Cool.
a
That
lot of
one,
people So Den
That
Haag.
picture, the picture to the bottom right there is the one in Norway, and I can just imagine how cold that water is.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder if you have your wetsuit on, if it's not too bad.
Well, I have 4 wetsuits
Oh,
based on temperature. So I have, I have like a shorty that just covers my torso.
okay.
Then I have a sleeveless. A lot of people will have a sleeveless. So it's cold, but it's not really cold. Then I have 2 long sleeve wetsuits.
Hmm.
So those vary in, millimeters based on how cold the water is. And a lot of times you'll wear a neoprene cap because a
Ah,
lot of your heat
okay.
escapes through your head. So you'll wear that. That's why if you see pictures, you'll see like the black strap around somebody's, chin, and then they'll have the required colored cap on.
Hmm. Hmm.
If it's really cold, race directors can allow booties and gloves, which I have, and I have
Hmm.
used them before. The coldest water that I've been in has been, I think, 54 degrees.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, well, that'd be adventurous to do Norway. You probably have to put all of it on. Do you have to have an area of your house just dedicated to all your equipment?
I do, yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Has Scott ever gotten involved in the sport in any way, or has he decided to
So
stay clear?
we used to do biathlons together in
Okay.
Hawaii. So we did
Gotcha.
that. He's really a cyclist.
Okay.
So I love the fact that he's a cyclist because that's the most expensive part of your race,
Hmm.
having a good bike. And he advocates for me to have a good bike. So I have 2 really nice bikes. I have a tri bike and
Hmm.
I have a road bike, and both of them I've gotten within the last year. So I'm glad he
Do you
likes
ever
them.
do you ever compete with the road bike in a triathlon
Yes.
race? You do.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when would you ever use the tri bike then?
So you use a tri bike. Usually my tri bike works really well when the course is flat, and
Hmm.
you can go really fast on a tri bike. It's very aero, very light. Um, it has trouble like going up hills.
Hmm.
So sometimes I'll choose to use my road bike, but
Hmm.
you cannot use a tri bike for a draft legal event.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Important to have the road bike. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to compete. For example, in some of those races like that were in Worlds, they were draft legal. So I need a road bike.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So what are your goals in triathlon? Like, what are your long-term goals? What would you like to achieve in the sport?
You know, I really want to try a 70.3.
Okay.
I'm almost 57 and
Hmm.
I don't want to be too old before I try it, but that's
Hmm.
my big goal for this year. There's one that I've registered for in Oregon and
Hmm.
it's in July, so I have time to train. And I think I have qualified again to compete in Worlds, but it is in Pontevedra again. So I didn't go, I'm not going to the next Worlds, but in
Okay.
2027, it will be in Canada. So I'm
Oh,
planning to qualify for those events.
fantastic.
Mhm.
That's great. We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Let's talk about the marathon, which is one third leg of the triathlon, and it has a really interesting history behind this race. It comes from ancient Greek legend, the run of the messenger Philippides from the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC to Athens. And he was announcing the victory before he collapsed and died right in front of everybody. You can see a picture there to the right. And the tale inspired the modern marathon, which was first held at the 1896 Olympics, which was the first modern marathon and covered 40 kilometers at the time. The official 26.2-mile distance we have now was standardized later in another Olympics. And that event has now grown in popularity globally, eventually welcoming women in the 1970s. So there's now mass participation. Now you have these huge races like the NYC Marathon, the Boston Marathon, the really popular one that's in Berlin, and now they're having them on the North Pole, the Great Wall, all these different places. So have you ever considered trying to do one of the big marathons?
I could, I guess, but I really like the fact that I don't have to just run. But
Hmm.
I have a friend who met his wife doing a marathon at the Great Wall of China.
No way.
Yeah.
What a
Really neat.
story.
And yeah, it's really neat. And we actually traveled with them to Pontevedra. So John knows them really well. And they actually convinced John to do these races. I mean,
Oh,
they
that's
were very
great.
helpful. But
That's
that's where
great.
they met. Hmm.
Do they ever have triathlon and marathon races at the same event? Like, maybe on a different day, but like you could travel and potentially do both, or they don't
Wow.
have.
I mean, typically, I think that a city that has a big event will not
Mhm.
have those back to back.
Is that right? Okay.
I haven't seen that because logistically, they have to shut down the roads and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't seen that before, but maybe it exists. I don't know.
You can see a map there, Sylvia, to the bottom of what his run looked like from Marathon to Athens. That must have been quite a situation. It's not like they had very good roads back then, and he was basically running almost barefoot. So,
Right, he was running barefoot and
yeah,
no electrolytes and who knows what he drank.
right. You had to get the message there. So, training for a marathon, this is what they recommend. Essentially, build up your mileage slowly with 3 to 4 runs weekly, incorporating easy runs, then speed work, and then weekly long runs, peaking at around 20 miles right before the race itself. So I thought that was interesting. You never really fully run the full marathon. You run up to about 20 miles in your training. And then use other low impact activities to get into shape, like cycling, swimming, elliptical, to build your aerobic fitness while you're training for the race. So, thoughts about this type of training plan and looking at the weekly schedule here?
I am not a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Done half marathons, and those are kind of new to me. But this looks like it looks well thought out.
Hmm.
I'm not an expert in this, and I don't know that I would want to do a marathon.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a lot of the same. Run, run,
It's,
run, run,
it's
run.
not a bucket list item for you to go to the Boston Marathon or the New York Marathon, that kind of thing.
No, I am not a runner. In fact, running is my weakest discipline.
Gotcha.
So
You just
um,
do it because you have to.
I do it because I have to. Yeah,
That's
I'm up at the front of the pack for the swim, and I'm I do well on the bike. And then when I'm at the run, it's like, do I have a sign on my back that says "pass me"? Like,
Mhm. No. I watch these marathoners in the Olympics come in, around 3 hours for 26.2 miles. It's just unbelievable
right,
how fast these people run. They basically sprint the entire time.
right, yeah,
So it's pretty incredible. Some of the big marathon races, this is pretty interesting. They got Big Sur, the Great Wall of China, you talked about, the Big Five in South Africa, Mont Blanc, France, Italy, Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, Disney World, and then lots of what they call marathon majors, which of course include Boston and New York and many others. So I assume if you're a marathoner, this is what you put on your bucket list to finish off.
right. And I do have a friend who's been to every continent and done a marathon.
Really?
Has all the medals hung up, and it's really cool. Yeah.
So his discipline's marathon, yours is triathlon. That makes sense.
Well, he's both.
Oh, he's both. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I would assume this would be like the bucket list, especially if you're a young marathoner and you want to do it all. You'd
Mhm.
have to schedule one of these races during your time. Let's get into some of your photos, Sylvia. You have so many good ones here. What race was this on the top left there?
That was in California. I think that's called the Chula Vista Triathlon. I'm not sure.
Okay.
They all blend together. There's water. I know it's California.
Okay.
And it's always beautiful there. I love the fact that I'm in Arizona. I can drive 5, 6 hours, get to the beach, and the weather is ideal there. They do, like I said, Cause Events is the one that does a lot of triathlon in San Diego, which is the birthplace of triathlon. So I loved going out there. And they
That
host
makes
an
sense.
event.
That's great. Which race is this to the top right that you're finishing?
So this looks like the Olympic distance championship in Milwaukee that was actually this year, this summer.
Okay.
And I finished that race. It was such a hot day. It was very hot. Athletes were really under a lot of heat duress.
Hmm.
But the next day, so the way the nationals works is that you have to qualify for the Olympic, and then you
Hmm.
also have to qualify for the sprint. So it's harder to qualify for the Olympic than it is for the sprint. So
Gotcha.
I did both. I usually qualify for both, and this is the Olympic finish. But the next day was the sprint, and people come from all over the country, and they're super excited. And we had a terrible storm. So they canceled the sprint.
Oh, did they really?
That was a big
Oh
deal for
no.
USAT.
Oh no. That's terrible.
So I was super happy, even though this was a really hard race. I was like, yes, I went out there and I did three things. I went to the gala, I did the open water swim, and then I did the Olympic. And so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, it's okay, I can go.
So could Scott, if he wanted to, just enter the bike portion of the race only, or you can't do that?
So you can do a relay. A lot of races will have you do a relay, but you've got to have somebody who's going to do other legs.
I gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
So a lot of people will do, for example, an Ironman. You can do an Ironman relay. I would maybe do that. I'll do
Okay.
the swim or the bike, but I'm not doing the run.
So is this a tri bike that you're on here?
Yes, that's my tri bike. That's my speed concept. My 2024 red speed concept has my name engraved inside.
No
Yes,
way.
it's a very
Wow.
pretty bike, and it's a little bit like a Target. So I'm not sure which kit I'm wearing, but the kit is what they call the outfit that you're wearing, right? It's designed for triathlon. You could swim in it. It has padding so you could bike in it. It has pockets so you could put your gels in it.
Yeah,
So I have this really fancy red bike, and I might be wearing my USA triathlon, the one that I got for Worlds,
that is so
my
cool
name on it,
that
right?
you
So
have USA on your chest. I mean, that's
right.
just
So
nothing
I'll
like.
have you get your name on there, and you're
Yeah.
you're representing. Okay, so this is a very special kit, and it's like having a target on you, right? You're like, here I
Wow.
am.
That's right.
You better go fast.
And then I had to include this picture of you in the holiday gear to the bottom left because that is so Sylvia from what I knew of your personality.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Hilarious.
made everybody. I made my friend Allie there wear the antlers. We
Had
were
to.
very festive. You
Had
like the
to.
shoes? I did not run in those shoes.
So again, this great picture of you and John to the left. I like seeing medals around both of your neck.
Yes,
That's
yes. We
great.
must have finished the aquathlon, is my guess, and that is in Omaha. That's a multi-sport national championship.
Okay. Very good. And then to the bottom left there, is that after the race or is that at some celebration kind of thing where you're holding the
That's
American flag?
that's the Parade of Nations. When we were in Pontevedra, Spain, and all the different countries were lining up with their group, and so we were holding the American flag. Everybody was kind of, everybody wanted to hold the American flag. We didn't march with it; somebody else did, but we had it for a little bit. And you can see our Team USA shirts. We all had to be in our Team USA clothing, and then we walked around and
So who are
represented.
all these ladies? Are these your teammates?
So this is everybody from my age division. We're talking about the
Hmm.
bottom picture. This is right before the standard duathlon.
Hmm.
So these are all the ladies from Team USA, and we all raced that race together.
That's great.
Mhm.
I assume you encourage each other. You're rooting for each other. Yeah, everyone's
You
representing the
kind of,
U.S.
yeah, I mean, of course, right? We're all cheering for each other, but we're also competing against each
But you
other.
want to, yeah, beat each other too, of course.
But I think going into this race, people already kind of know where they're at,
Right.
right? So the woman
Right.
that's right next to me, she's amazing. I can't remember if she got second or third, but she's
Hmm.
an amazing athlete, and everybody knows, she's gonna knock
Yeah.
it out. And
Gotcha.
yeah, but it
So,
was just really fun.
so you've been in the bracket long enough now after a decade. You know most of the players. I mean, you know who's good, who's not good, who's okay, who's
Well,
great.
there's so many people, but you see a lot of the same faces, right? You
Okay.
can sit down and you can say, "Oh no, she's in the race. Darn it, I have to push it."
Well, I know
Or
some say that
say,
about you too. They're like, "Oh no, Depta's here. Oh no."
right, right,
Yeah,
brah.
I got to beat her today. Oh no.
There we go. She's got her new
So,
bike.
so tell me about your trainer here to the left,
Okay, so
Alan.
this is Al, and he is with One Multisport. He's such a great guy, and he's probably the person who's going to be coaching me for my 70.3 and writing up my plan. So I've sent
Okay.
him all my stats, and he lives in my neighborhood. He really runs One Multisport. He's
Okay.
also a certified referee for US Masters Swim. So I see him at
Mhm.
I do swim meets also, and that's where you'll see the bottom left. We're at ASU's pool, and it's the Devils, the swim Devils. So there's all the fire.
Right. Right.
Um, so I see him a lot. He tells me about events, and we go to swim meets together. And you'll see there's a picture with him and John and me on the right at one of the holiday classics.
Hmm.
Right. So he's just a really great person, and he um, is really trying hard to build up the youth. So John was the first high schooler on the high school one multi-sport team.
Hmm.
Big deal.
That's great. So I remember I've done a couple of open water swims, not very many, not like you, but I do remember that it didn't matter how much pool work you did. When you got out there, you couldn't train for the waves and for the unpredictability of what comes at you, especially when you're in the ocean. So
Right. Well, that's why people are afraid of the swim. You get there,
right,
it's dark. What's the water temperature? You want to know the water temperature. What's now,
right,
if it's a lake swim, it's all about the temperature. And if it's a
gotcha.
river, well, what's the current like? If it's the ocean, let's talk about the waves, right? So they're all very different, and that's why different wetsuits, different mentality. I was very fortunate to have some experience in open ocean swimming, which is
Hmm.
really a different
Right.
beast altogether. And I mean, I
Do you
remember
worry about the creatures that are out there, the sharks,
I do. One time I
the
was trying,
manivore, the whatever?
not a man of war, but usually sharks. So
Okay.
I meet with a group. We all kind of start to get to know each other. So I go to Oceanside, California a lot, and there's the Ocean
Mhm.
Pier Swim, and people get together on Sunday mornings and they swim around the pier. So I go there whenever I go to California. I try to do the swim with them, and we were swimming along. It's a 1 mile swim, and getting out past the breaks can be very challenging. But we're
Mhm.
out
I
there, and
bet.
I'm swimming next to somebody. You always want to swim near someone. And this guy who's a great swimmer, he stopped. And I was like, what is he looking at? And he starts yelling at somebody on the pier. And I'm listening, and he's like, don't throw the shark back in. Wait until we go around the pier. They caught a shark. He was 4 feet, and they were going to throw the mako shark back in right when we were swimming past them.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
I close my eyes a lot when I do open ocean swims.
I have to tell you, Sylvia, I saw Jaws way too young. I think I was 9. And it makes me very fearful of especially great white sharks. So, like
Yeah.
an Australia swim I'd be very discouraged to do
Oh,
that.
right. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah,
Well, there are a
exactly.
lot of people on my swim team. So I swim with the Swim Devil
Yeah,
Masters team here in Scottsdale.
right.
And a lot of them are very fast swimmers, but they won't do open water swims for
Hmm.
various reasons.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I see a lot of really fun Christmas pictures here, and it seems like you guys
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. Is it kind of like a sorority or fraternity kind
Okay, okay.
of?
So in Phoenix, here's a little bit of Phoenix lore and tradition. There is Camelback Santa. So shout out to Camelback Santa and the elves. We climb up in December up Camelback Mountain, which is a double diamond hike. It's a
Okay.
pretty tough hike, and I have to climb it with a skirt on and a dress. Okay.
And you did it with boots. I mean, what are you doing,
Well,
Sylvia?
everybody asks me, but I carry those in my backpack.
Oh, you carried those. Okay. All
I
right.
do carry those, but
Because
people
I was
come.
like, how did she do that? That's crazy.
Well, I'm Mrs. Claus. I can do all sorts of things.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, we get up to the mountain, and there's tons of people coming from all over the world, all over the country, and they want to get their picture taken with Camelback Santa. And I've been doing Mrs. Claus for like 5 years. So we see all sorts of people. We hear all sorts of stories. People are super vulnerable after they've done that really arduous hike.
I
And
bet.
some people want hugs. Some people tell us, their mom died, or some people say, hey, I remember this one girl said she wanted Santa to bring her a boyfriend. We get all sorts of things. It's very fun,
Wow.
but it's training. I mean, it's good
It
workout.
is. It is.
Mhm.
So there's a great picture of you playing the violin.
Yeah.
How much time do you get to practice? How much time do you get to perform?
Well, this is one of the reasons I like the Olympic distance, because I try to balance music with sport.
Mhm.
And I had a concert just last weekend.
Mhm.
So I had to really put training aside and focus on the music. It just
Mhm.
depends. I try to practice. It depends on the music, but I try to practice at least 5 days a week, at least an hour if I can, depending on the music. And it's like a brain workout, but it's another discipline that I think it's good to balance things. So,
Mhm.
and it's
You had
just really fun. Great, great people.
very proud of you for keeping up your music career too. That's fantastic.
Mm.
So You had a special picture just to the right of that of someone, I think she's in a champion of some kind.
Yes, it's just such a terrible picture, Tom. But
Well,
I
you
got to
know,
share that with you because this is Gwen Jorgensen. And I can't remember what year it was at the gala. I think it was 2022
mhm,
in Milwaukee. And she is the United States' first gold medal in triathlon.
mhm.
So she's pregnant there in the picture, and I follow her on Facebook, and she is an amazing person. But it's just fun because I'm learning a little bit every time I go to these national competitions and these galas. I learn a little bit more about the history of triathlon, and she's part of the history of triathlon.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Were they both really nice to talk to?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about your family music group here.
Oh yeah.
Is everybody musical?
Well, they've all had music lessons. Yes, they've all had
Okay,
music lessons. Some are better than others, and I just wanted a fun picture, so I was like, "Hey, everybody, grab a guitar."
that is fun.
And yeah, I
The
think I
musical,
practice more. I practice more than all of them put together, but
I bet you do. I bet you do. They're the musical family Deptas. And then to the left of that, that looks like a very special group.
right. So again, at the gala, one of the galas, we were able to hear from several of the original 12 Ironmen. And in fact, they brought the trophy with them. So that's just a picture that I took, and it was very interesting to hear their stories and
That's amazing.
how they
Wow.
started out with this Ironman race. And you know, they didn't have equipment. One of them wore jean shorts and put change in his pocket so he could stop by the convenience store and get nutrition. Stories about people getting lost. um, I can't remember, but I remember there's nobody at the finish line really. It's so different than it is now.
Oh my
But it was
goodness.
really neat to be educated. I was educated on who these people are and what they did, and how difficult it was.
But they blazed the trail. They really
Use the
did.
trail. They sure did.
1978. Yeah,
Mhm.
very good. That's awesome. So, Sylvia, tell us how people can contact you, especially sponsors.
Oh,
They want to
sponsors.
they want to reach out to you. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks first, Tom. This was so much fun. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's my email there. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, I like friends. I'm very social. So I'd love to hear from you. And mostly I want to encourage people to just step out and try triathlon. It sounds
Yeah.
daunting,
Yeah.
but you just take a few steps and you can do it. Anybody can do a triathlon. There's a distance for everybody. They even have a super sprint for beginners. So that's a pretty short race just to get you into the mode of triathlon.
So do a couple sprint tries, and then you might get addicted to it, like
That's
Sylvia.
right. Yes, and your wallet will never look the same.
Yeah, that's right. Are you more addicted, do you think, to the races themselves, or is it to getting the medals and getting kind of the feedback by winning? Like, what is
I
it that you like more about it?
I love going to the different outdoor venues. I like being outside. I was a tomboy when I was a kid. I like being
Mhm.
outside all the time. So getting my feet dirty, my hands dirty in that yucky water,
Right, right.
sweating. I don't know. I really like that. It's
That's
just
great.
fun. You feel like you own part of what you conquered something.
So another interesting thing is not only did Sylvia and I meet at University of Virginia day two, but we actually went to the same high school together.
You
So
did.
I don't know if you remember this, but my first 2 years in high school, I went to West Springfield High School.
Mhm.
And then my junior and senior year, I went to the American School of Paris. So I did not graduate because I was over in Paris, France. But I think you went to that school too, didn't you not?
I sure did.
And you're from Springfield, Virginia, my
My
hometown.
parents are still in that area. Yep.
Wow. So how often do you go back?
Well, I was just there in October for my mother's 80th birthday.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I guess I go once a year. Yeah.
What do you remember about West Springfield? I
Oh,
take it you were not a triathlete back then.
I did cross country, one season of cross
Oh,
country.
you did? Okay.
You
That's
know what?
good.
We have a great class. Our class of 1987. We
Yeah.
get together a lot. When I go there, I still have friends there. And, it was I had a really, really fun time in high school. Yeah. I
Part
had a
of me was sad. Part of me was sad not being part of that class because obviously I graduated over in Paris, but I still kept in touch with some of my friends there, and you and I would have walked together if I had been.
I know. Well, we kind of, I mean, we went to college together, so that worked out
We
well.
did. We did. And then my brother, when we came back from Paris, after I'd already gone to UVA, he came and he went 2 years to West Springfield to finish off his high school. So that was pretty cool that he went there too.
We have just a little bit in common, don't we, Tom?
Just a little bit. It's like our paths keep crossing all over the place. Sylvia, thank you so much for coming tonight on the Sports Guyz. It's been a delight and talking to you about this amazing sport, triathlon. I hope we inspire more people to follow in your footsteps. And it was great just to reconnect with an old friend.
Absolutely. Maybe use a different word. Old friend. Let's say young friend.
Young friend.
Young old friend.
That's right. That's right. I just meant we've known each other a long time. That's what I meant.
But I'll see you, I hope, at the reunion this summer. So
I will be there. I'll be at the University of Virginia. We'll see each other next summer. Any final thoughts for all the future triathletes out there?
Just do it. Just do it. Nike.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much. You have a great night. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.